Hi, so this lesson is about times tables. Why are times tables important? Well, they will make it so much easier for all the different kinds of maths that you do. If you know your times tables, doing your calculations will get so much quicker. But learning your times tables is hard. If you think about it like your favourite song, when you first heard your favourite song, you didn't know the words to it, did you? But then as you listen to it more and more and more, you might have learnt the chorus and then the first verse. And eventually, you know every single word to that song. That's like learning your times tables. If you don't practice them over and over, you're never going to learn them. So, what I'm going to do in this video is show you the easiest way to fill in a multiplication table to help you learn your times tables. So let me just click present. I'm presenting, so I want to present this presentation. So, this is a multiplication table, 12 by 12. The easiest one to fill in is your 1 times table because that's just counting up in ones. So 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 3 is 3, and so on and so forth. Then because I know what 1 times 1 is, and I know what 1 times 2 is, I also know what 2 times 1 is. Because I know what 1 times 3 is, I also know what 3 times 1 is. So I can fill in this row as well. Filling in the 2 times table is the next easiest. So if I know what 2 times 2 is, that's the same as doing 2 add 2. 2 times 3, same as doing 3 add 3. So it's really easy to fill in the 2 times table. You might notice that the 2 times table is also all of the even numbers. So if you know your even numbers, you'll be able to count up your 2 times table really easily. Again, because I know what 2 times 3 is, I also know what 3 times 2 is. So I can fill in this row as well. The next easiest times table is the 5s, because we know that everything in the 5 times table ends in either a 5 or a 10. So you just count up like that. So we've got 5, 10, and then we have 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. It follows a nice pattern, and also, as you say it, it has a nice rhythm. Again, because I know what 5 times 3 is, I also know what 3 times 5 is, and so I can fill in this row across here. The next easiest one is the 10 times table, because you basically just add a 0 to whatever you're timesing it by. So if you look, if I wanted to do 10 times 1, I take the 1, add a 0, and I get 10. 10 times 2, I take the 2, add a 0, and get 20. So I can do that for the entire column. Once again, if I know what 10 times 3 is, I also know what 3 times 10 is, so I can fill in this column, this row across here. Now we know our 10 times table, we can fill in our 9 times table. We can do this because we know what our 10 times table is, we just have to take away one lot of whatever we're timesing by. So for example, I know that 10 times 1 is 10. So I know what 9 times 1 is by looking at what 10 times 1 is and taking 1 off. It's 9. I know that 10 times 2 is 20. If I take 2 off that, I know that 9 times 2 is 18. So you can fill in that column like that. So 10 times 3 is 30. If I take away a 3, 9 times 3 is 27. 10 times 4 is 40. If I take away a 4, 9 times 4 is 36. I can do the same thing with my 11 times table, except this time, instead of taking away, I'm going to add it on. So, oh wait, I can fill in that row across there first. Then we can do our 11 times tables. So I know that 10 times 3 is 30, so I can add a 3 on and get 33. I can do the entire column. Because I know that 11 times 3 is 33, I also know that 3 times 11 is going to be 33. I can fill in that row across there. Once you know your 11 times table, you can fill in your 12 times table in the exact same way. I know what 11 times 3 is, so I can add on another 3 to find out what 12 times 3 is. And fill in that column using that method. Because I can fill in that column, I can also fill in this bottom row. And look at how much of this times table is filled in already with basically just a bit of counting. The next easiest one is the 3 times table. Okay, so like when we're doing 2s, it's just that number added to that number. Doing 3s is just that number added to that number, added to that number. So to find out what 3 times 3 is, I'd just do 3, add 3, add 3. 3 times 4 would just be 4, add 4, add 4. Easy. So we can fill in that column. And then I know what 3 times 4 is, so I know what 4 times 3 is. We can fill in that row. 4 times 2 is a little bit more difficult. It's basically double it and double it again. So if I'm doing 4 times 2, if I double 2, I get 4. And if I double it again, I get 8. So using this method, we can fill in this column. So 4 times 4, 4 doubled is 8. Double that, you get 16. Because I know what this column is, I can now fill in this row. And now we've just got 9 numbers left to fill in. These are the 9 hardest multiplications. So you've got 6 times 6, 6 times 7, 6 times 8. These ones you kind of just have to learn, but we can fill those in like that. Once I know what 6 times 7 is, I know what 7 times 6 is. So we can fill it in on that row. Then we get to 7s. We can fill those in. And then the last one is 8 times 8. Fill that in. And that is the easiest way to fill in a multiplication table. Now, these numbers here are special numbers. And if you are doing level 1 or GCSE, you need to know about these numbers. They're what we call square numbers. And they are the result of where we do a number times by itself. So for example, up here, we've got 1 times 1 gives us 1. 2 times 2 gives us 4. 3 times 3 gives us 9. 4 times 4 gives us 16. 5 times 5 gives us 25. 6 times 6 is 36. 7 times 7 is 49. 8 eights is 64. 9 nines is 81. 10 tens is 100. 11 elevens is 121. And 12 twelves is 144. Like I said, if you're doing functional level 1 or GCSE, you need to know that these numbers are square, what it means that they're square numbers, and be able to recognise them. Okay? So I hope this helps you with your times tables. Like I said, it's all about practice. The more you practice them, the better you'll know them. Bye.